Our brains are constantly humming with this incredible symphony of electrical signals. For decades, we've been trying to listen in, to understand that music, to diagnose really critical health conditions. But what if a new conductor could help us hear it more clearly than ever before? Well, that's where artificial intelligence comes in. And today we're going to see how it's completely revolutionizing our ability to decode the brain.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get a handle on the challenge. Why is listening to the brain just so incredibly difficult? So we capture these signals using what's called an electroencephalogram, or an EEG. It's really the cornerstone of neurophysiology, giving us this direct window into what the brain is doing. The thing is, these signals are jam-packed with information, but they're also super noisy and complex. It's like trying to pick out a single conversation in a massive roaring stadium. And trying to interpret them? Wow, it is a monumental task. It puts this huge cognitive strain on clinicians, who, by the way, need years and years of specialized training. Plus, every single patient's brain is different, and the signals often get distorted by stuff as simple as muscle movements or even just blinking. All of this leads to a lot of variability in how EEGs are read, which can have a huge impact on patient care.
This is where a powerful new partner enters the scene: artificial intelligence. And we're not just talking about any AI. We're specifically looking at something called deep learning, and it's making some serious waves. The key idea here is that the system learns all on its own. So instead of being told exactly what to look for, it figures out the important patterns just by analyzing massive amounts of data. Kind of like how we learn to recognize a face after seeing a whole bunch of different examples. Now, what's really cool about this is the huge shift it represents. With the older methods, an expert literally had to sit down and write out all the rules. Tell the computer, look for 4 wheels, look for a metal body to identify a car. With deep learning, you just show the system thousands of pictures of cars, and it teaches itself what a car looks like. It's really the difference between following a recipe and actually becoming a chef.
So that's the theory. Sounds pretty good, right? But now, let's see how this technology actually performs when it's put to the test in the real world.
Because that's the most important question, isn't it? Can a machine really analyze something as unbelievably complex as the human brain?
Well, the results are pretty staggering. In one study that looked at 24-hour recordings, an AI-assisted system cut the review time by a factor of 50. 50! That's taking a task that could take hours and squishing it down into just minutes, all while performing at a level that's similar to a human expert.
And what about accuracy? Speed is great, but it's got to be right. A peer-reviewed study found the AI had 89% sensitivity. In plain English, that means it was extremely good at correctly spotting the abnormal brain signals, these things called epileptiform discharges, that are really key biomarkers for epilepsy. And when you look at the overall accuracy of a leading system called AutoScore, it clocked in at 88%. Now, get this. In that same study, the human experts had an accuracy of 83%. The AI wasn't just on par with the experts, it actually slightly outperformed them. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates how reliable the system is. You can see it has high marks across the board. For accuracy, for sensitivity, which is finding the issue, and for specificity, which is correctly identifying the normal signals. It proves this isn't some one-trick pony. It's a robust and dependable tool. But, and this is a really important but, this isn't a story about machines replacing humans. It's about a whole new kind of collaboration.
I just love this quote from a clinical neurophysiologist. He doesn't see the AI as some kind of threat. He sees it as a colleague, a tireless partner who's always there, ready to provide a second opinion.
So, this is the crucial point. The goal is assistance, not replacement. The final call always rests with the qualified clinician. The AI just does the heavy lifting, sifting through hours of data, flagging the potential issues, and that allows the human expert to apply their critical thinking where it's needed most.
So here's how that partnership actually works in practice. The clinician starts a study with the AI running in the background. The AI automatically analyzes the data and gives a high-level summary, flagging anything that looks abnormal. The clinician can then immediately see which cases are most urgent and sort through the AI's findings to review them efficiently. The result? A much faster and more consistent final report.
And this is what it actually looks like for them. They get this clear, color-coded dashboard. At a glance, they can tell the difference between normal and abnormal studies and see which cases need their attention first. It totally transforms their workflow from a manual search into a guided review.
Of course, the technology isn't perfect. Not yet. Researchers are actively working on two really key challenges. First is interpretability, making the AI's reasoning transparent so a doctor can understand why it flags something. And the second is robustness, making absolutely sure it works just as well for every patient, in every hospital, under any condition.
So, when you pull all of this together, what does it really mean for the future of diagnosing brain conditions?
Well, it really looks like this technology is creating a whole new standard of care. For patients, it means getting faster, more accurate diagnoses. For clinicians, it means less time spent on tedious reviews and a real reduction in the risk of burnout. And for hospitals, it means better efficiency and using their expert resources more effectively. It's truly a win-win-win.
This leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. As these incredibly powerful AI tools become more and more integrated into medicine, not as replacements, but as trusted partners, how is that going to change our very idea of what a doctor does and what it even means to be an expert in medicine? It's a future that is arriving a lot faster than we think.